Was an innocent man executed in Tennessee? If so, then who killed Suzanne Collins? Sedley Alley was put to death by lethal injection in the state of Tennessee in 2006 for the 1985 rape and mutilation of Marine Lance Corporal Suzanne Collins. April Alley is Sedley's daughter. Her attorney includes Innocent Project co-founder Barry Scheck, who told the court that they filed a petition for DNA testing after law enforcement officers in St. Louis contacted him about a possible alternative suspect in Collins' murder.
We need to know who did this.
Scheck argued that it was a matter of justice to test the DNA evidence, and the court had the power to order that testing. April Alley wants to know the truth. She has the courage to seek the truth. DNA testing can provide that truth, Scheck said. Evidence they want tested includes a pair of men's underwear recovered at the scene. DNA testing of evidence was in its early stages in the 1980s, and no DNA evidence has ever been tested in Sedley Alley's case. Shelby County Assistant District Attorney Steve Jones argued that the state's DNA analysis laws applies only to the person convicted of the crime to request the testing. But Sedley has been executed, so how can he request the testing? He also argued that even if DNA from a third party were found on some of the evidence, it would not prove Sedley Alley was innocent. Alley was convicted based on a combination of factors that corroborated his confession, Jones said. April Alley was at the hearing Monday but declined to speak with reporters. She and her brother witnessed her father's execution. They had their hands up against the glass as he spoke his last words, telling them he loved them and to stay strong. Collins was the daughter of a U.S. Foreign Service official. After graduating from high school in Virginia, she joined the Marines with plans of eventually becoming a pilot and was stationed at the former Memphis Naval Air Station in Millington, Tennessee. Shelby County District Court judge said she will rule on the petition on November 18, 2019. Additionally, April Alley's attorney have written Governor Bill Lee requesting that he use his executive power to order the testing. So if Sedley Alley is innocent, then who's responsible for the murder of Suzanne Collins?
We got a letter from law enforcement officials in St. Louis that an individual named Thomas Bruce had been arrested for a vicious murder.
The Catholic supply shooting last year. Bruce is accused of shooting and killing Jamie Schmidt and sexually assaulting 2 other women in the West St. Louis County store. He's also charged in the sexual assault of an elderly woman in Jefferson County months earlier.
And discovered that he had gone to the same avionics training school where Suzanne Collins, the 19-year-old Marine Lance Corporal in this case, was attending classes. They were saying to us, there's a possibility that he is the serial killer that you had argued might be discovered with the DNA test all those years ago. Could be him, might be somebody else. DNA can tell us the answer.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Bruce could be a serial killer, but nothing is set in stone just yet. DNA testing has to be ordered by the judge in order for Bruce's DNA to be compared with the underwear at the crime scene. Does that mean Thomas Bruce is involved in the Delphi murders? No. Does that mean he's responsible for the Evansdale, Iowa murders? No. But it does point to a bigger coincidence that he may be a serial killer. What up, YouTube? I'm Anthony Greeno, and back by popular demand, this is The Adventure. On the road where the night is black, on the road where you don't look back, there's a white line in the distance where it's going, nobody knows. If there's anywhere you find it, on the road. There's a teenage kid, no matter what he did, nobody ever understands.
And he don't measure up, and he's had enough. Can't be his daddy's little man. So he pulls out that hot rod Chevy, puts in his favorite cassette. He ain't going to no college. The world is waiting up ahead on the road where the night is black. On the road where you don't look back. There's a white line in the distance where it's going, nobody knows. If it's anywhere you find it, on the road. Eddie and Jill got time to kill. The kids ain't ever come around. And a gold-plated watch was all he got when the company shut his life down. So he takes out that old airplane. They don't know where they're bound. 55 years and still searching for something that they never found. On the road where the night is black. On the road where you don't look back. There's a white line in the distance where it's going, nobody knows. If it's anywhere you find it, on the road. On the road. On the road. I saw stars dancing on the water. I heard Elvis singing Blue Suede Shoes. Ran over the river was my witness. Night I fell in love with Queen of Memphis. Just like that old man river, she keeps rolling through my mind. And you know I won't forget her, 'cause she was one of a kind. I saw stars dancing on the water. I heard Elvis.
I hope you enjoyed the footage. On that note, everybody, I'm Anthony Greeno, and I'm about to keep it Southern style.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar.
Here comes the money.
Oh.
Money, 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 money.
Fist in my pocket.
Here comes the money.
Oh.
Money, 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 money.
Don't tell me I don't love you, YouTube. Peace out. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I am announcing my candidacy for the President of the United States. Vote Anthony Greeno and subscribe on YouTube. What's going on? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever the hell you're watching from. I'm Anthony Greeno. What y'all thinking about that video about Tom Spruce? Did he kill that chick or what? And was that man executed? Was that man executed as an innocent man? That's what we all want to know. Did he not do anything and get killed? That's interesting, huh? Very interesting that he attended the same school as her, training facility, I guess I should say. And it's a possibility that he caused that dude to be killed. So I found that very, very interesting. Bruce more than likely did it and let that man burn for it. Well, you know what? And it would be, if he did do anything like that, if he did it, and they're just saying that it came up on a radar that they contacted him and says, you know what? He may have participated in that based on his history in St. Louis. You know, that he may have participated in the Tennessee murder back in 1985 because he was there at the time that she went missing or was killed. So, isn't that weird? And then the Allie pled guilty. He admitted it. No, I'm not saying that he did do it. No, I'm just saying that this was the news, so I decided to make a video on it. I'm just saying that if he did, that they're just saying that he is possibly the person responsible. And I'm just saying that if he did, then it would be interesting. But if he didn't do it, then well, I guess DNA evidence would prove that. They are going to order on that by November 18th on whether they can do the DNA testing or not on Bruce and the underwear that was found in the crime scene of Suzanne Collins. So if Allie was executed as an innocent man, then it would be interesting if Thomas Bruce is the person that killed her, because then it would really change my mind on some things looking into Thomas Bruce. That he did something way back in the 80s like that, and now it's the person. But see, Tennessee what am I trying to say? St. Louis law enforcement reached out to the Innocence Project and says, you know what? After his crimes down there, that they started looking into his history. Where has he been? Look at the places that he had been, and basically jumped on to say, okay, well, he was here and he was here and he was here. Now let's see if any other crimes had happened in these areas that we know for a fact of him to have been in. Okay. And they can say, well, we know that he's here. And now, well, there was someone that was killed and this person was convicted of it, admitted to it as well. And then it's his daughter that's saying, well, they never did DNA testing. He admitted to it, but then he later said he was coerced into admitting to it. So, but see, here's the issue that I would have with Bruce being the killer of this woman, is that the other guy admitted to doing it. So it's like that. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. You got, like the scales of justice thing where the scales are usually tipped to one side and it's not the side that you're on. I don't know. And I don't think that's why the FBI was in Tennessee. The FBI was in Tennessee or I don't even think they were in Tennessee. You know, I remember that actually. The FBI, I don't even think they were in Tennessee. That the sheriff down there, a deputy had posted something about the Delphi murders, and people started getting on a rampage. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, the suspect's in Tennessee. When they came out and says, nah, we just posted that. We didn't really mean that. Like, we would just kind of help the case or whatever. So, I don't know. But the dude kind of looks like Bruce, you know, in a way, you know, both old and ugly. And so there was a newer mugshot of Thomas Bruce. And I'm trying to see if I can get that real quick. There was a brand new one that came out. There he is. Here he is. Let me show you guys this mugshot. Look what this dude looks like now, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. There's Thomas Bruce now. Isn't that interesting? He looks totally different. I mean, totally different. Like, he just looks crazy, doesn't he? He's all like, almost like a Santa Claus looking dude. But, I mean, that's just, wow. That is like so different from what he looked like, you know, in those other pictures. That's like totally different. It's so insane. Yeah. To go from, you know, and where's my other folder at? You know, to go from, well, where the hell is it? Here we go. Wow. To go from that to that is wild. You know, like he just looks like a really old man here. Here, he doesn't look that old, you know, but I mean, right here, man, he looks old, real old. Guess, you know, being in jail will do that to you, dude. Yeah, you should be able to just log right in, dude. Hold on. As soon as this thing does this or whatever. All right, there it is. All right, now I got to close my Facebook down. And he should be popping in here any moment now. See if I can get over here and pull this thing up.
WKAT now comes with the new and improved
Podcast Formula.
That's right. WKAT will now be broadcasting the best.
The best podcast
in North Central Indiana. And now we have on the line
Henry Aiken.
And Henry is calling us from
Dallas, Texas.
Just want to say y'all fucking rock, man.
If you'd like to join the conversation, call in during filming hours.
But wait, there's more.
To make sure you don't miss the action, get in touch with us on other social media platforms.
Twitter.
Tweet, Instagram.
Facebook.
And YouTube. Links found in the description below.
WKAT Podcast is fan-funded at PayPal.
And there it is.
WKAT Podcast.
And now, live on YouTube, with your hosts, Michael J. Jack and Anthony Green. WKAT.
What's going on? You dude?
There it is.
There it is.
How's everybody doing?
They are doing.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm glad everybody's doing. I have had a bad day of it. A real bad day. And I'm sorry for bringing that into the crowd. However, it's been a bad day.
I wondered where
There is good news. Go on.
I don't know. I was just wondering where you been all day, dude. I was like waiting for a message. Like people's like, hey man, I emailed him, blah, blah, blah. Sent you the same shit.
Yeah,
like,
you know what? I got everybody's emails. Thank you, 12 cut. I forget the other woman. I had to make a run into Kokomo for a big giant meeting. I wasted an entire day and almost beat the shit out of a motherfucker for it. Oh, I just monetized shit. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. It's okay. It wouldn't have been monetized anyway. I can let people know that. Because if it's got my face on it, they say no.
Control Alt Delete. Yeah.
However, man, I'm walking down the sidewalk in Kokomo and some lady, and if she's viewing, hey, give me a name here just, for the sake. But I'm walking down the sidewalk and some lady goes, hey, Michael Cat, is that you? Hey. And I was looking at her and I'm like, I don't know that lady. I have no idea who that is. Then I'm like, video. Yeah, she had seen a video. And that happens when I go to Kokomo, of all places. If I go to Delphi, I'd probably have people trying to hang me. So, yeah, man, what I did not like here is that I tune in and you're all like taking their side and like, well, but did this guy? Well, I don't know. I have given complete, ample evidence to every single question ever. Because still in Delphi, and you're like, yeah. They say something about DNA, and you're hopping on that train. So
I'm not hopping on it.
What's up?
It's a story.
It's a story.
It's a story, but I never said that he did that. I'm saying that
I didn't say you said he did. I heard you say he may not have, but
he may not have, but he may have. But if he did do that, then that changes a lot in my head about Thomas Bruce. About, just based on the fact that he's been all around.
But again, because, okay, now I did not find that murder. The one of the lady, what was her name? Collins.
Suzanne Collins, yeah.
I did not find that, and because I just found out about it at about 10 minutes before I got on here and seen that you was live. Seriously, just found out about it 25 minutes ago. Okay. That's how long it took me to look into it, catch the news story. I went to Facebook and seen you was, you had posted and was live. And then that's why I kind of got here. So I did want to kind of give a take on it, but
cool.
Anywho.
Well, they pretty much already got mine. They was asking actually before you came in here or whatever. They was like, well, where's he at, man? Don't we want his take? And I'm like, you know what, man? I sent him a video link earlier. And
you did? I didn't even see it on there.
Yeah, I sent one to you and I was like, I was waiting for you to respond back. Like, you know what, dude, I seen it. And I was sitting there earlier like, man, he's probably going to go live at any point today. But,
I thought about it, but I wasn't going to, and I was going to tomorrow, but since you was live and already set up, I'm like, yeah, I better just hop in. It's on WKAT. Why not?
Yep. So, all right.
Well, what I do want to say, because I had not seen that until you just posted it, the new picture of Thomas Bruce.
Yeah.
Please post that again.
Okay. Just a second.
Because I want people to look at the sides of his head and the hair color, because once it's grown out, like I said, the sides would be dark. See it? You see those sides of the hair? Yeah.
Yep.
That is the darker color that I said was coming out like a year ago. Mind you, he's balded a couple years, but his hair is still darker on the sides where it was coming out from the side of that ivy hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's his freaking hair. Man, look at that beard, dude. Looks like a totally different dude, doesn't he?
If you take that beard off of him, right down to the little goatee and everything that was there, and look at that picture in comparison to the first sketch, do it. Just do it.
This one?
Oh, well, yes, but I was telling people to do it. No, but look at the face. It's identical to the Delphi killer for a damn good reason. It is him. Same as Evansdale. Same as I've screamed for a year, people. Now, all it takes is the news to come out with one story about DNA, and everybody will hop on, man. Everybody will hop on that train. Everybody will hop right on now because the news said it. It wasn't my ass talking. Now, I ain't talking to you guys, man. I know you all's cool. I know every one of you, and you all's good people.
Right. Okay, so people are asking about it. Okay, so they're like, so now they suspect Bruce of murder in Tennessee? Yes, they do. They do suspect him of that. And that's the thing. That's kind of what we was talking about is he went to the aviation training school in Tennessee with a girl named Suzanne Collins, and let me pull her picture up right here. Suzanne Collins back in 1985. And
same year I joined.
Really?
Yeah, 1985. In fact, it was February the 13th, December, Friday the 13th of 1985 is the year I swore in, or the day I swore in to the Army.
Wow.
Because him and I are the same age.
Wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's 45 days older than I am.
Wow.
I don't look like an old man. I want to say that. If I do, just it's cool. Just tell me. But I think I look a little better than he does.
So he went to the class with this girl, and she was raped, beaten, and mutilated in 1985 in Tennessee. This guy right here, his last name is Alley, was convicted and executed for the crime. But DNA evidence was not tested at the time, and he was executed in 2006. And Tennessee officials contacted the Innocence Project and said, we have a guy here by the name of Thomas Bruce who was arrested, very similar to what happened in the case out there. He may be a serial killer that you guys have been looking for the whole time. And so the Innocence Project is trying to exonerate this guy right here of the crime by doing DNA testing on male's underwear that were found at the crime scene of her, and trying to tie it to Thomas Bruce because he was there at the same time that she went missing. And so they really are suspecting him as a big time serial killer all over the place. So I think it's interesting, but if nobody knew that, I mean, it's all over
You know what? I do want to say this. I did look over his prior addresses in comparison to unsolved murders, because you would have to feel that they were unsolved. Now, that one did not pop up. And if it did, and I can guarantee it probably did pop up on my screen with the other ones, they was all solved or had somebody who had pled guilty to it and so forth. So I didn't really put that into the make of it because somebody had, suffered the consequences, and you would automatically take a person of interest out of that equation. But I do want to point this out, that the Innocent Project, I don't think that they have his DNA. They wouldn't have been given his DNA. Law enforcement.
No, they're asking the judge to order it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the point I'm standing here in is this, because I had somebody ask me a little bit ago, I think it was 5 Pound Smalley. I hope I got that name correct. But he said, why are they looking into him and Delphi isn't? I said, well, they're not looking into him, meaning investigating him. They're looking into the idea of looking into him and investigating. However, and this is what I told him, over the next year, you will not hear them come forth saying that the DNA is a match and they're filing charges because they can't speak to him. It holds the exact same with Delphi and Evansdale. Identical. They will not come out in the next year and say he did it because of DNA. I'll lay my left arm to it because I know what's going on. It's exactly the same as Delphi in that. Even if they confirmed that it was his DNA, that would never hit the news. These people made news out of it, kind of proclaiming to the side there that he may have did it, DNA and so forth, but they're not going to come out with charges for the next year till they can speak to him. Just throwing it out there.
Right. And Lisa, yes, they can come at you with a warrant for DNA even if you're not facing charges.
Yeah.
Because Carroll County did it to me years ago in the jail. Came at me with a warrant and took my DNA.
Oh, they already got his DNA.
Bruce's, yeah, they got his DNA. He went into CODIS right after his arrest.
Oh, and I do want to say something because what you was talking about when I first got back over here, you was talking about Tennessee because you was here when that came out.
Yeah, that Tennessee thing?
Yeah.
With the suspect was in Tennessee or something and people went crazy. Yeah, I remember because we was talking about that and you're like, well, why would the FBI come out and say that?
Well, you know what? And this could be a matter of reason. There would have been DNA on that underwear, right?
Yeah, that's what at the her
in Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, they said there was.
Okay, what if that was put into CODIS? What if that did pop up from the unknown at Delphi?
That's what they wanted. Well, that would be
a reason for them to also include areas of Tennessee, not?
Yeah.
And that could have been a reason why the FBI said they was expanding that area into Tennessee. I'm not saying that that is true exactly, but it could give due cause to do that.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
It is. I agree. Yeah, it is. Because we was really confused by that when that came out. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that dude's living down in Tennessee, but I mean, killing in Tennessee would probably be the better thing because we always felt it was more of a Kentucky or in that area accent that was on the Down the Hill video or audio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean, Missouri, Kentucky. I mean, you see my point.
Midwestern.
They're parallel to each other.
Yeah. We're not South Carolina Southern, but we're a little bit Kentucky Southern.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it changes more Eastern to Midwestern to more, you see what I mean, as you kind of linger westward.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So, okay. So did you looked into this? You just watched the news clip real quick and then got past?
Yeah, I did because after I watched the news clip, I thought, well, okay, fair enough. I mean, I get what they're saying. I think that on behalf of the Innocence Project that he was there because what bothers me is this, that other guy would confess and then take death for it. Well, like, why would you do that?
That's what I wondered too.
You see what I mean? I would never walk in and say, yeah, I did something when I really didn't do something and then take death for it. I mean, who in their right mind would?
Well, I was reading something on him and he said eventually first he confessed to it. Then he came back and says, you know what? I was coerced into confession and I didn't do it, but they were like, they just went through with it anyway. You know what I mean? I ended up putting him to death for it. But, and there's, controversy over whether the prosecutor's arguing that the only person that can raise the testing of DNA is the person convicted of the crime. But his daughter's saying, you executed him. How can he do it? You know, so she's trying to file a petition on behalf of his estate saying, I want the DNA tested. But the prosecutor is fighting back saying, no, you can't really do that because he needs to do that.
Now you see right here is the dilemma. If you have DNA that's in the CODIS system and it matches, you see where I'm at. Mm-hmm. Now there's a reason that they don't want to do that because they didn't test the DNA on that man, from my understanding.
Right.
But they had DNA available, but it was before a time when they could have did that conclusively as they can today. All right.
Right.
However, if they was to do that, Now, they would have to pay back the entire bond over the whole time that they kept him in jail. That amounts to millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Why would a prosecutor not want to do that? Because that comes out of the prosecutor's pocket. That's why.
Yep.
And that's why that they would say that every single time. They may not even look any further at it. They may go, yeah, we get it. But the guy confessed. What was we to do? We didn't have, you see where I'm at? But they can't take back that money that they've already spent through the bond.
And that's what I was saying that earlier, that the prosecutor's they're not in it to find the truth. They're in it to get that conviction and keep it.
They're in it for the plea.
Yep. They don't care what's the truth. They just want a guilty plea and it's over. Who cares about it from that point on? If the dude's innocent, they don't care. They just want the conviction.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I've walked into court actually few times and been innocent of it. I mean, and I can tell you I was innocent of those anyway, at least those charges. But they don't care, man. They go, well, we got a plea. You know, this is probably the best we can do. And the public defender's like, well, they give you a really good plea because that's what they get paid for. They all work for the state, people.
Yeah. It's like, well, take the plea or get maxed out. There you go. 10 years or 6 months probation. You know?
When I was down in Indianapolis, how many times did I tell that prosecutor or my public defender, dude, look, man, let's just go for the jury trial. It's next week. Let them get that dude here. Let's do it. Well, it's going to be months from now. And I'm like, yeah, so I still got to come down here. Well, yeah. And I'm like, oh, mother. All right, fine. I'll take their plea.
Get it over with and get out of here. Yeah.
But they lowered it to nothing. It was just like, go home.
Yeah.
You don't know a dime. Just go home. It's a misdemeanor. Bye-bye. Okay, yeah. I can take that piece.
Yeah. It's coercion.
It is. It's coercion. It's all coercion. It's all fake. It's all fraud. All of it is. I mean, okay, even with the guy who did it, and I understand, man, that there's got to be justice, but there is no justice in Delphi. There is no justice in Evansdale. There's 4 girls that's never going home again. You cannot get them justice. You can make sure a guy pays for it and call that justice, but they'll never go home. They will never return to us. That's why we was in it, because there was 2 girls in Delphi that died. They shouldn't have, on a hiking trail. You know, there's nothing more to say. There's a monster out there, and if I haven't been blunt enough about his name, I think we know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is interesting, man. This raises my eyebrows to Thomas Bruce. You know, I'm just curious as to what else might happen here.
Woof. Yeah, he's hopping on now. It took news to do it. He's such a sellout.
It took the news. It took the mainstream media to convince me. Yeah.
He's calling Rafael Sanchez tomorrow. I want to talk about Thomas Bruce and how he committed the murder.
Yeah, he committed a murder in Tennessee, dude. I got it. Yeah. He's a Delphi dude, man. Figured it out, Rafael. Breaking news, Sanchez.
I wonder how Sanchez was doing these days.
He's doing good, man. He was just over there doing an interview with Becky Patty about her cancer diagnosis the other day.
Oh, well, I am sorry to hear about that. I really am.
Yeah,
it's just like him to go where the views are.
Yeah, and he switched to Good Morning Indiana.
Oh, right in the ball sack.
He's no longer the nighttime guy anymore. He's the early morning host. He got promoted.
Hang on one quick second. I'll be right back. Talk for a bit. Hurry.
Okay. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen. So Thomas Bruce, he is now. Whoops. Sorry about that. He is now accused of killing this woman, or based on St. Louis law enforcement officials has said, go check this out. Check it out and blah, 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 because this dude may have been falsely executed. So I found that to be very interesting today.
Hold tight. He's not being accused.
Well, he's not being accused, but the officials in Tennessee have said to take a look at him that he may be.
He's being called somewhat of a person of interest for a case that somebody else was executed for.
Mm-hmm.
It will be interesting to see how they take that. I mean, if it is him, if it really is him, what will they do? Because like we was just discussing, they don't like to come off of that. Hey, if somebody pled guilty and we killed him for it and we didn't have technology for the DNA, whoop, there it is. He asked for it. You see what I mean?
Right.
But for them to come out and say the DNA matches and now we're going to hit Thomas Bruce with it. Well, I mean, wouldn't he have something of a right of hey, somebody confessed to this?
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean, and you killed him, and now you're trying to say I did it. You can't get two people for the same crime.
You're right.
What he would have a leg to stand on, but he doesn't have one in Delphi or Evansdale.
Right.
I mean, there that is. But down there, he may.
Yeah, you're right. He may have one. And Peaches says, if they're using these 2018 photos to say that Bruce looks like the Collins murderer, let's see Allie's 1985 photos before we get excited. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that Bruce was at the same aviation training school as this woman when she was killed in 85. They're not looking at the photos of the two dudes saying they look alike. They're saying he was there at the time.
They do look a little alike.
I know. That's what I was saying. They do kind of look.
I heard you saying that, but I thought the same thing when I seen the news. I thought, well, they do kind of look alike, because I was looking back at that picture when he got out of Navy basic.
Yeah, I used that in my video.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I do kind of wonder what that guy looked like. And why did they go by what the guy looked like? I mean, did somebody see the guy that murdered that girl? See, I haven't even looked into this.
Well, see, that's the thing, is it's hard to find a lot of information on it because it was so long ago. There's not like videos on it. You know what I mean? Back in 1985, they weren't YouTubing, like, hey man, dude,
Oh, dude, if we knew about YouTube in 85, think about where we'd be right now.
I know, it would have been born before me.
Yeah, it would have been Greeno too.
So, Peaches, who put this together? Well, there was a guy by the name of, what was his name? Sheck. He's the Innocence co-founder, and he basically was saying that officials in St. Louis contacted him and said that Bruce went to this training facility with her. She was killed, brutally murdered, and that Bruce committed a brutal crime in St. Louis, and that there was never any DNA testing on this guy, Allie, at the time. So they're saying that they want to try to order the judge to order the testing of the DNA on the underwear that was found at her crime scene and compare it to Thomas Bruce's, because he was there with her at the time that it happened. And they think that. I mean, that's kind of how the pieces are put together. Barry Sheck, there you go.
You know what? I got to wonder about that, because to my knowledge, I can't name a brutal crime that Mr. Bruce has committed at this point. Now, mind you, I don't know the death of each of the four girls.
Right.
Okay. We don't have that. That was never released. And that may have been, but the point is for them to actually look at a murder of a woman that he was in classes with back in 85, that was a brutal murder and rape, and then say, oh, well, this guy was in that class too, and look, he got hit with a crime where he did something to a lady. I mean, that's more than a stretch. That's a murder. The other guy admitted and was executed for it. Now, I don't know what they're using for their evidence, but I am going to say this. That's a real long shot. And I'm not saying that Mr. Bruce didn't do it.
Right.
They have. But the point is that just going off of that is pretty messed up, man, because I have given ever on those two crimes. Seriously. There isn't a point that I've missed. There is no point that I can't discuss. I mean, any question that I have, nobody else is asking me, because I don't know the car. I don't know the vehicle he drove. I mean, I can't say that. I can't say the exact vehicle in Evansdale, but I know that both belong to him. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And that's what I got it down to, because my answer to everything is, yeah, you bet your ass. You bet it's him. I talked to a guy yesterday. I won't give his full name. I will say it's Byron. And he wanted me to call him, and he had some questions. And when I told him, he's like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, you got it, man. Because it's nothing that I haven't thought about 100 times, 1,000 times over on each piece of it. It's all went through my mind over the last year, everything.
Was it Byron A?
No, I think his last name is S.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not the same person I thought then.
No, he was watching you yesterday.
Okay.
Because he told me that you was on there and you was discussing the Delphi murders.
Yeah, which is normal.
Which is what we do.
This is what I talk about in my free time, which is all the time, Delphi murders.
You know what? I mean, I should, but here's the thing. I mean, like if I tried to do a live show every day, I mean, if I did, it would just be me sitting here rambling, just repeating the same thing. Everybody would get tired of it and go away. That's why I do it every week. That way it doesn't seem like a total repeat.
Right. Well, I figured that you would be on there today, but I see that you was in Kokomo all day.
Oh, man, dude. God. The man, you know what? I'm going to tell you about it after the fact, but yeah, it was a real blow job, man. I got just up the backside.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That sucks. I'm curious now. Okay, we're ending the show, ladies and gentlemen. Click.
See you later. Bye, everyone.
So, I don't know. Well, yeah, I want to look into this dude more. I want to look into that case and kind of see what happened, because if it does turn out to be him, before they go issuing gag orders or anything like that on this thing and say close it down, I want to know more about it and see if I can pull up any kind of documentation that I can. You know what I mean?
You have over a year
on him. You
have over a year to do that.
Yeah, but they can start locking things down now. You know what I mean?
Well, on what?
Well, kind of like they did
on Delphi,
like Delphi, where they just locked everything down and says, no, we don't want anybody to look at this stuff because these could be linked, like Daniel Nations. You know what I mean? When they locked him down.
Okay, but what would link him to the crime?
Only DNA could.
Look, over in Delphi, man, they released video of the guy, audio of the guy. They got his DNA. They got more than that. And that was all thrown out in the open. So I don't think that they're going to gag order any little information, because if somebody didn't see the guy or something like that, then what would we have to go on that we could link it to? Well, man, they still got Thomas Bruce's Facebook and Twitter page open. You can go look at them right now. They're still up.
Right.
Yesterday I was pointing to Byron because I asked him if he had seen the nickels. The nickels? I'm like, yeah, the double nickels. No, I don't remember. So I showed that to him, and he's like, holy cow. He goes, it's the mind of a serial killer. That's why he did that. It's exactly, and he's looking at that, and he's like, yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, you got this guy. I mean, and that was just like one little piece, but it's everything put together. It's all him. I mean, I've released more than the news ever would. I've released what, like, law enforcement could not, and I've stood here for a year screaming it. For a year. Then, but that doesn't even add up to my day.
100% mind of a serial killer, says Peaches.
Peaches is correct. Bam. At 100% correct.
Yeah, and we do need some convictions around here, We need some convictions.
Besides ours.
Yeah, besides ours. Be convicted 2 or 3 times before these guys get charged.
Hey, well, you know what? I damn near have.
Yeah,
would have been one.
Me too, man. I mean, hell, Daniel Nations has been convicted 2 or 3 times.
No, he was convicted 4 times. And then still extradited him back to Indiana.
And then back. That's crazy. And then back to Colorado. I've never seen that before. How do you get extradited all the way back to Indiana and then extradited back to the state you got extradited from? That's pretty bad, dude.
Well, call that our bad.
Yeah, and then they issued a warrant right away. As soon as they got extradited back, they issued a warrant here in Indiana. It still stands. It's like, damn.
Yeah. No, he ain't coming back to Indiana.
Yeah, get out of here, dude.
Not voluntary, he ain't.
Go wank it at some other Walmart, dude. You know?
Go winking at Walmart, man, you jizz pile.
He's probably banned from every Walmart in the country, dude.
Yeah, hey, post that right there.
Which one?
Hang on, I will.
I see it.
Dave Bull, man, right there. TB World's Most Serial Killer. I know exactly what you mean, but I've already pointed because, look, man, off the go, correct me here if I'm wrong, but me and Greeno had cited, man, that there wasn't anything out there to give a belief. Now, that was the side of Evansdale, which had the similarities, but we could not tie those two.
Right.
So I had said, because people said, well, do you think that the suspect, and because that was before Thomas Bruce, is a serial killer? And I says, well, I can't say that because really, I mean, for around here or anywhere close, I don't see anything that relates to this crime. But once I tied in Evansdale, then I said on the reverse day, whoa, we could go on all day. Then I'm like, yeah, because both were him. That does make it serial. You know, most especially there's 2 states, 2 murders, identical, the whole 9. Yeah, it's serial then. And that's why I started looking back at like unsolved crimes in or around the time he had lost a job, where he lived, and so forth.
Well, you remember when they came out, like shortly after he was arrested, and they was talking about he's being looked into as possibly responsible for like a ridiculous amount of crimes?
No, I remember. Well, I mean, numerous, yeah, because when the FBI got his DNA, the last thing that I remember hearing was they're running that DNA through CODIS. They haven't found anything yet, but they're still looking. And I'm like, nah, no. Because, look, they were down there at St. Louis after his arrest, the FBI, and got his DNA for one reason. They knew that something else had occurred with them in the past. 2, the FBI asked his neighbor if, and showed her the video of Bridge Guy. Does that look like him? I can't tell. Is what she told me that she told him, but I don't know. You see where I'm at? So the thing is the FBI was immediately upon his arrest looking into him for Delphi. Immediately. Now, I don't think that was by accident. I think his fingerprints came back as the unknowns from Delphi. And I think that that's how St. Louis got a hold of Carroll County, said, hey, we got a guy that's dressed like your Bridge Guy, looks like the thing, and had never broken the law before. And I think that might have been the main reason that they contacted Carroll County.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And FBI was there to get DNA immediately. So I believe that there was some kind of a further match than just that to him between that and Delphi. Because they went there to get his DNA to see if that matched. We know how that flew 1 month after his arrest. Sheriff Leslie sent the DNA there off to Quantico, and zip, you ain't coming in to the second-year press conference, pal. Later, because they knew what I was going to talk. They knew what I was going to ask. They knew what I was going to say, because I said it right here in a live video and talked about it beforehand.
Yeah, so
they wasn't going to have me in there, period.
They was waiting. They was like, no, dude.
They was. They met me at the door. Holman and Kim Riley.
What did Riley say?
Holman was the one that had the balls enough to say it.
Holman was?
Yeah. Yo, you ain't coming in. No, it ain't. It's fake. Get out. Leave. You're not media. Bye.
Bye.
The Delphi reward money. I said, that's a lie. I never said any such thing. Anybody that ever heard me say that in any video, please tell me which one. Guys, I said a long time ago, no one is getting the Delphi reward money from the FBI. And the same applies with Evansdale.
Right. Now, here's my thing with Bruce. Okay, so what is wrong with him to wear that if he was caught on the camera? You know what I mean? There. And knew that's what, you know what I mean? Why would he wear that again? Is that just his get up for that? You know what I mean?
Hey, I don't know who the trolls are that Radar was talking about, but if he needs to moderate to get rid of them, yeah. Whoever is moderating, if it's Alaska Blue, if you see any troll, escort them.
Yeah, quickness gone.
Yeah, because that's one reason I appreciate her so much. You know,
Yeah,
she's good at what she does.
She is, and we don't know, Barbara, if he buried the clothes or not. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, if you wore that right there and you knew that you was caught on video, why would you wear it again to go commit another crime?
May I?
Yeah, go ahead. Is that just his get up?
Well, this is me on it. I think that he takes inside of himself a pleasure in what he's done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When he went into that Catholic supply store and committed that crime, he knew upon doing it. He had been drinking, but he still knew he was going to get caught for that. Because, like I've said, there was the ancestral DNA. He knew that Delphi was using it. He knew they was going to come knocking one day soon. And you look at the 3 months. September, he sexually assaulted a 77-year-old lady. The next month in October, he had the traffic pullover where he was drunk. The following month in November, he's drinking, goes to a Catholic supply store, pulled that crime off, and knew that they was going to come to his house. He knew he was going to get arrested. So, yeah, he wanted to at least show that he had done Delphi because it was like his final stand. I think that he really thought when they came in that he was going to fight and kill him. And I think that that's why he had the black eye, because he fought back immediately when they barged in.
Okay, so when was Evansdale again?
It was Friday the 13th, 2012. It was July 13th, 7/13/12.
Okay, dude, this is weird. Suzanne Collins was killed on July 12th, 85.
Really?
Yeah. I'm here. Let me pull this up here on the big screen for us so you can see it a little bit better, and I will zoom in.
That is bizarre.
Hold on.
Bizarre, dude. I mean, yeah, that does give at least a little bit of circumstance too.
So she was born June 8th. She died July 12th, 85, Tennessee. So yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
definitely.
In 85, how old would Bruce been? How old were you in 85?
19.
You were 19 as well. Okay, so he was.
She was 19. Yeah, I had just turned 19 the month prior. Actually, only about like 2 weeks prior to that date.
Wow. Okay, so you were 19. Then that means that this picture, he was 19.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't know the exact year he went in, but I assumed by looking at the pictures when he had went in, that and the one with his friend where they're standing outside on the Facebook post, I thought, because us being the same age, I thought it was probably about the same year.
Right. Oh, wow. That's so interesting, dude. So, yeah, there's something up with this 12, 13 area here, you know, like something around that. There's got to be some sort of something bad that has happened to dude in his life somewhere relevant to that date.
You know what?
A breakup or something.
I don't know about that. You know, I mean, because let's look at it. And I mean, let's just speculate that he did do that murder down in Tennessee. All right.
Right.
Well, okay. That would probably be, especially given that age, his first murder. Would you not believe?
I think, yeah.
So I don't think that anything had occurred on that day. I don't think that he set out on that exact day to go do that because of the day. Okay. I don't think that there was a date set. Now, there could have been in Evansdale, because it was July the 13th, it provided, the day after, a day of bad luck, a this, that, he had just lost a job, woo, 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 and we did that. But yeah, in or around that date, I mean, when things start adding up, and I mean, that's only a couple, but, when pieces start falling together, that's when I really start taking a bigger interest. And that is something that would make me look a little harder.
There's more to this too. Okay, so the rumor, and I don't mean to say anything graphic, everybody. So if you don't want to hear something graphic, then turn your ears off. The rumor that one of the girls in Delphi was stabbed with sticks, right? Had sticks punctured into them or whatever. Right here and I'm reading her Wikipedia. It says that she was beat multiple times, fracturing the skull, before repeatedly shoving a tree limb in the vagina with enough force to penetrate her abdomen and tear one of the lungs.
My God.
And then blunt force trauma to the head and internal hemorrhaging from the tree limb, ditched the body and fled the scene. But that's pretty gruesome.
You know what? I don't have it right in front of me, and it would really, I don't want to waste people's time with looking it up, but I do have it wrote down in a text file somewhere deep in some document. There was a lady, and I'll lay the crime out as the way it happened. And this is about a year ago when I looked into it, because I was going over keywords that I knew had fit my suspect. There was a lady that died, and she was at an Amtrak station, and this is down in southern Illinois, just a few miles out of St. Louis. She was seeing a man that lived in St. Louis at that time. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I forget the date, and again, I ain't gonna go look it up. But she took an Amtrak down there from Chicago, where she was living at. She was at a friend's house. She left for whatever reason to go to St. Louis to see this guy, made it back to her friend's house, and she dropped her off at the Amtrak station to go home. That was the last place she was seen. Her body was found a few miles from there in the woods. Okay. Now this is years later, but the body had been burnt. The skeletal remains. Somebody had tried to set fire to it to get rid of it, but it was found years after that. And they did the DNA and discovered it was her. But I was looking at that going, a man from St. Louis that left a body in the woods, burnt, that abducted her from an Amtrak station. She would have had to know the guy, and the guy would have had to have a reason to have her leave. And she was down there where she didn't know anybody, just miles from St. Louis. And I kind of thought, I did. And in fact, I mentioned that name to him in a letter I wrote, one of the first letters I wrote. Just asking. There it is. Oh. Shit.
What?
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
Okay. So, but what now?
Well, anyway, I mean, it was just because of the circumstances of the death. Whoever it was, I mean, I'm assuming if you're at an Amtrak station and you leave with somebody, either A, they got you under duress with a handgun, or B, you know them and will leave willingly with them. You see what I mean? Well, her friend wasn't with her. And who else did she know that lived down there? The guy that was from St. Louis. Well, her body was found, like I said, in the woods. Her body, or the skeletal remains anyway, had been burnt. That's not to say they was left there. They could have been somewhere else. But yeah, a couple miles, outside of that area. It was relatively close. And it was the same. If you look at Evansdale, it's 25 miles away where the bodies were dropped.
Right.
And I did give kind of a pattern to that. As to what he's done and stuff in the past. There was no name given, but I don't think that anybody really knew the man. Or, I mean, maybe they did. Maybe her friend knew the name. I don't really know. But she came up missing, and I mean, just because she came up missing from southern Illinois, it was way years after the fact when they found her skeletal remains. So, I mean, they may not have even have questioned him if it was him or the person that she, had been seeing there. I don't know. But I'm just saying it was the circumstances that made me kind of look at it a little close. Much in the same way as, you kind of got an interest there in this case for that reason. It kind of brought that to my eyes in the same way.
Right. Wow. 17, 18, and 19. Okay. I don't know, man. It's interesting because it seems like, I don't know. And what I was telling somebody earlier, it was like, okay, everybody looks at the dude and says, oh, he couldn't do that. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, man. I like him. I mean, he like day after the murders or whatever, he's over there like, hey, man, what's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing?
Don't mind the black eye. If he had the black eye at the time, I'm pretty sure the law enforcement gave him that black eye.
Yeah, they did. They did, man.
Man, my wife.
He's lucky he got a black eye.
Yeah, they went in and roughed his ass up. Sodomized him.
Sodomized him with his stick to his lungs.
Yeah, he would deserve that. Yeah, so it's all over every news station there is now. Like when I typed in the Catholic, someone's asking what day the Catholic supply store was. It was November 19th, 2018. Trying to see if there was another date around the 12th or 13th.
It was on Route 66.
Was it?
Yes. Just something to think about because I am drawing a parallel to the dark side with him. I think he gets out of church, he goes the other way. He loses a job, he brings bad luck. I think that it's something that's at play in his mind for whatever reason. There's only X amount I know about criminal behavior and psychology, but it does seem to fit. I mean, everything that he's done seems to fit that of a serial killer, right down to his, not his actions. Like I said, it's quite the opposite of the way that we kind of picture serial killers. I mean, BTK, man, the lady's like, yeah, he was on power trip, man. Nobody liked him, because that's how he was. Now, Thomas Bruce on the other side, man, is way different than that. Everybody liked him. He was a friendly guy. He was happy. He was courageous toward his friends and family and loved ones. He was, but there was a bad side, man. There was an evil side to that man.
Big time.
Yeah.
So much. I mean, so much that, the police chief, the former St. Louis police chief, Tim Fitch, has urged the prosecutor who doesn't want to seek the death penalty, who wants to seek life, to turn it over to the federal prosecutors so that they will seek the death penalty. Like people down there is like, man, sick the death penalty on this dude. But
they want to overturn life without parole and seek death.
That's what the police are trying to get him to do. The former police chief down there is wanting them to turn it over to the federal prosecutors so they will seek death.
Hey, Sarah. You are late.
Sarah Lopez. Yeah.
Sarah Lopez.
About an hour late. You missed it. You missed it all.
Still got it. She didn't get the notification, bro.
Yeah. And not everybody gets those. Make sure you click that little bell to where the two dots on the side of it are, they show or whatever, the two lines on the side of the bell. That's like all notifications. It'll tell you some notifications, all or whatever, which I don't know how YouTube determines some notifications. It just randomly picks, I guess.
I always get notifications for icons. I mean, it pops up on my screen. He just posted 32 seconds ago. Just like that, man. It's just like instant.
Wow. So yeah, and Bruce is what? How tall is Bruce?
You know what? I'm guessing he's about 5'9".
Yeah, because they were saying the perpetrator Catholic Supply was that he was 5'7" to 5'9". Yeah. Navy blue Carhartt jacket, red, white, and black plaid shirt.
Oh, I know that shirt. He's wearing it in one of his Facebook photos.
Yeah. Wow. Hot Shots Sports Bar. Wow. And you know what? He may not have been caught if he didn't leave that card.
No, he would have been. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing, man. I mean, there was 2 women there that lived. They knew exactly what that man looked like. You know, they had DNA. I mean, of course they would have DNA given the scope of what happened, you know, but I mean, like they had DNA and they would have knew that matched Delphi, that, you know, because they're unknown DNA, the fingerprints that were unknown from Delphi. I mean, it was all out there on a APB looking for this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was all out there. I mean, they would have had that narrowed down really quick. Police did say that they was lucky that, you know, that lady came forward with the card. It helped them narrow their search, I think was the words they used. So, I mean, still, the guy had a couple drinks. Look what occurs. He had a couple drinks, man. Look what happened on the highway. The guy has a couple drinks, man. I mean, and he goes after women. It's something really evil and malicious in him.
Right. Barbara, if you're interested in doing the PayPal things, can the moderators post our PayPal links in there?
Can they?
Oh, I was asking them if they would. Like, that's the, and that's that. So if you guys didn't know them, where's his at? Right there. It's real easy. If you just hit paypal.me/ and then like the last part here, like Michael Stroop 777 or Anthony Greeno, it'll go right to the page, and then it's like just a button there. You can just click it.
Yeah.
And that it's real easy. So if the moderators would post those in there for us, please, we'd appreciate that. You know. So
you know what? Every time that I put in WKAT, it always pops up. Did you mean what? On YouTube?
Did you mean what? What? Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You put in WKAT and they're like, did you mean what?
Yeah.
No.
They always do that.
It's a channel, man. You know that. You popped it up.
Yeah. Here, I'll post them in here for us. There's one. PayPal.
Oh, shit.
You got yours? Here, I'll do it.
Well, I dropped my mouse.
All right. So I am posting them in here now. There's one, and here is the other.
Oh, shit, man. The battery came out.
Is that what it is? All right. There you go.
There we go.
Ones. All right. So there it is. Yeah.
So go ahead. Oh,
Well,
wait. Hang on. Somebody posted something up here. Mama Rissi.
Collins.
Yeah. That is what we was just discussing. Thank you, Mama Rosie. You know, because that is kind of significant, and it is. You know what? She makes a point. She really does, because that was Elizabeth Collins in the Evansdale murders. That was her name. That was the name of the little girl.
Makes you wonder if he's stalking certain people.
But how would he have known in 2012 that she would have been there?
Well, exactly. I don't know. There's weird coincidences that all these things happen, and it's how they're all tied in. You know what I mean? Like,
Man, dude, I swear, if it was all set up by him, it couldn't have came out any different. There is that many similarities. There is that many coincidences. It's eerie without even trying. I mean, how much of it could have been accident? When you're looking at that many similarities, how much could be an accident, but how and why? I mean, he didn't know that girl would be there at that trail at that time. He didn't even know that girl.
Right.
You know, and I mean that's really weird that you got a Susan Collins and an Elizabeth Collins that were killed on approximately the same date minus 1 day. Yeah. And then you got the reverse date, which goes to Delphi. That's very bizarre. That's very bizarre. In fact, it does make me tend to agree a little further, maybe, and I will check into the Tennessee murder.
Yeah, that's something. And you know what? When you type her name in, it comes up with Wikipedia, and it'll give you a lot of good stuff on there. It's things to reference and stuff. I did find it on there. That's how I found out about the tree limb and stuff, which is insane, dude. Because if there's any truth to this Delphi rumor, that would make sense if he did that. You know what I mean? In Tennessee.
You know what? Hang on. Let me back this up, and I can find it. And again, I'm very sorry because this was I believe it was an email. It may have been in a comment. I think it was an email. A lady wrote and told me about an old lady, and she was raped and murdered, and it was like 2 miles west of where his family lived in Michigan, in a smaller county, I think. And I really didn't put much to it. I said, yeah, it is. But, given the date and the time, I really didn't think much more on it. But given the fact of when that occurred, because it was after 85 by a long minute.
Right.
And I don't think that this guy, if you look at Susan Collins, you look at the girls, you look at the 77-year-old, you look at the 53, I don't think that the man gives a crap about age. I think it all goes in the same book.
It's sexually motivated.
It is, but this is what I'm saying, because I've had people go, no, see, it was a 77-year-old. It can't be the same guy. I said, well, that's not criminal behavior. What you're saying is 2 different women. You see where I'm at? It's like a 77-year-old to 53. Well, he shot the 53. What was the age of the other 2? We don't know. This lady was 19. Okay. Well, the other ones, if you look at her between the ages of 9 and 14, the other 4.
Right.
You see?
Yep. So it's just like anybody.
It's anybody. When he's drinking, if you're a female and you do not comply, this is just what I'm seeing anyway.
Right.
He'll kill you. He will kill you. If he is in that mood, he will kill you.
Yes. When's he not in that mood? Well,
when he's drinking, is what brings it out, I do believe.
I wonder how often he drinks.
Well, let's look at the crimes.
At least 4 times.
Well, yeah, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5.
Yeah. And see, that's what Gretchen was saying. His MO is all over the place about some sort of hatred for women. It's either a hatred for women or a morbid fascination with raping or something like that.
You know what? I do consider that as well, because I think that all of it was sexually motivated.
I do too.
All of it.
I've always thought that the Delphi crime was a sexually motivated crime. What would be the reason for some dude just to go out and just kill 2 random people like that?
Exactly.
Kill 2 girls. He could have killed the flannel shirt guy. He could have killed the lady. You know what I mean? It's the opportunity where he finds where he's just like, okay, here's a great chance. I'm doing this. It's pretty ballsy to walk into the Catholic supply store like that and walk in, scope it, then come back in and be like, all right, everybody to the back. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty intense to shove a bunch of people into the back room like that, and do that. Like, that's risky, because who knows? One of them could have been packing heat. You know what I mean? And you never would know. So and he was controlling all of them at the same time. So
yeah, and I said that because I was going to order the Jamie Schmidt autopsy so I could find the caliber of bullet. That way I could match it to the handgun he had, and that would probably tell us exactly the handgun that was used in Evansdale or Delphi. And I'm not saying the shots were fired. But what I'm saying is the handgun that he had with him.
And didn't they say it was 22?
Who?
Didn't they say that the Catholic store was 22 or whatever?
I didn't see a 22, but a 22 would make sense because it is a low caliber. It's more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that the I-70 killer used was a 22 for the same reason. He would have a female turn around, shoot him in the back of the head, and leave. You know, he didn't rape or do anything to him. He just quickly left. And again, it's more of a thrill killer, whereas this guy is a sexual killer. You know, has sexual motivations.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't really say. It doesn't say anything right there.
I didn't see anything, and I did look, but I mean, if they did off the go, that would have been really cool to know, because he did have a 22 caliber pistol.
Okay, well then, yeah. Then wow, interesting. And there's so many news articles on the Wikipedia thing now for him. You know,
for who? Thomas Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to bump my sub list, though.
You're gonna have to make a new video so you can stay at that top on YouTube.
Yeah, but let me find out what my top video is, and then I'm going to reproduce it. And you know what? People actually do that. I don't know if you knew that.
What?
Okay, like they will make a 3-minute video where they're talking about something, and it'll be them sitting there talking about it. Then they'll make 2 duplicate videos that they throw up on 2 other channels that they own. Right. So it's all identical, but over here they got the computer speaking the same thing that they had said with the differing pictures up above. And the reason is when you put 3 of them out there, one's going to gain the advantage and then quickly shoot up to where it starts getting like over here, like recommended for you on the right.
Yep.
You see what I mean? And they get like, how many times have you ever clicked on a little video and you got a computer voice talking?
Yeah, I hate that.
For that reason. Because it's somebody that put up an identical to what they've already put out. And that's the one that made it. That's the one that becomes recommended. You see where I'm at? But they're big views on that.
Hey, whatever works for them.
Collins is the Evansdale names.
Yeah,
Lyric and Elizabeth Collins.
Lyric Cook, yeah, and Elizabeth Collins, yep. Wow. That's so cool. So has anybody got any questions about any of this?
Oh, we got 80-some people here, and we better have some questions.
Some questions.
I'm in a mood to answer because I'm not in the mood for much of anything else. Well, yeah, I am, but...
Any questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, let's talk until a question pops up.
Okay.
So how did your day go? Did you go to Kokomo?
No, I didn't go to Kokomo. My day
Well,
is...
or you would have got ass raped like me. You would have got a twig up your ass to hit your eyeballs.
Where did I find that picture of Bruce with the beard? It was on the jail website.
If you put in Thomas Bruce St. Louis and Google and then go to images, it'll pull up all of his court pictures. They'll all be there.
Yeah.
Including the old pictures, I think.
Yeah, that's all you're going to get. You type in him. He's got his own Wikipedia on it.
He's got a Wikipedia.
He's got a Wikipedia on Catholic Supply Store, dude.
Man, I tried setting up a Wikipedia. Man, I tried that. Man, they just go out and make one for his ass. I got to talk to Mr. Pedia.
Mr. Pedia. Mr. Wiki.
Mr. Wiki.
Oh, man. How many others may have Bruce killed?
All of them.
All of them.
If it's unsolved, chances are that cat was around or snuck through. Tell me I'm playing. I ain't.
Cat server says there's no way this guy hasn't done this before.
You know, people have asked me that the same thing. Well, like there was 5 years. I mean, do you think? And I'm like, I don't know, because like I said, I looked through all unsolved crimes in or around where he had lived in the past. You know, given where he had lost a job, this and that. I mean, whether he quit or resigned, whatever the story was for losing the job, because after I noticed that after the 2 jobs that he lost back to back, the 2 murders happened, Evansdale, Delphi. You see?
Yep.
So, I mean that may have popped up as one of them, but all of them were either solved or they was way far away and it didn't really fit his manner. as to what we know. And again, we don't know the deaths of the 4 girls. We only know the one of the 53-year-old Jamie Schmidt.
Right.
But we can deduce from that because we know the 77-year-old lady and the Catholic supply store was sexually motivated.
And he had a gun.
So, yeah, and so if he had committed the other 2, I mean, and again, not to be graphic, but we would probably have to feel the same way, that it probably related in a similar manner.
Right. Oh, you know what? That's an interesting thing.
What's that?
12 Cut said, remember the guy that died on the bike trail and they thought maybe Nations killed him?
Yeah.
They had a picture of his car on the trails. Maybe Bruce could be the killer there too?
No.
I wouldn't say, I would say no.
No, I would say absolutely no. He had no idea who Daniel Nations was, where he was. And to go up there with the 22 on a bike trail, I mean, you see where I'm at? It
Tim
wouldn't make any sense to.
A legendary cyclist.
He was. What was his name?
Tim Watkins.
Tim Watkins, that's right.
That was in September. When was that?
That was, I think, the month preceding the arrest of Daniel Nations. It may have been September. It may have been August.
Wow, Tim Watkins. Wow, you type in Tim Watkins and Daniel Nations pops up.
Yeah, man. You know what? I ain't saying he didn't do it. I mean, I can't say that Daniel Nations didn't, man, but they got ballistics on that rifle. They'd have to. You know?
It was in early September, I think.
Okay, then it was right before he was arrested. Same area. And who had a 22 when they shouldn't have? Yeah, who was wanking it at? Who was wanking it at Walmart? Yeah, that's right. Who hung out in ladies' bathrooms? That same cat. Excuse me, that same name.
The same dude. Yeah, I was trying to figure out when that actually happened, because it would just be ironic if it happened on the 13th. You know.
Yeah. You know what? I might actually be in suspicion of Thomas Bruce then. That might be enough to change my mind at this point. Yes, Bruce did have a 22 caliber pistol. It was in his bankruptcy filing. He also had a Sig Sauer and a Glock 43. Those were the 3 handguns that he owned. That it states that he owned.
A Glock 43?
Yep.
Okay, so it was on the 14th.
September 14th?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's just a day. I mean, after. No, but I mean, he didn't have any reason to be in Colorado or there. I mean, that was just total happenstance.
Yeah. Yeah, on Mount Herman Road Trail. You know what? And they still don't have anybody in custody for that.
Yeah, I know. And that is weird. It is, because you got a 22, you got ballistics on it. You know, I mean, you would kind of, I guess they wouldn't know who was coming in or out of there, but like, who would stop somebody cycling by to kill him? Just to kill him.
Yeah, and then bury him.
You know, it's like, why? You know, why would you just kill the guy, man? He seemed like a good dude just passing by on a bike.
He was legendary.
Well, let's still, you know, I mean, we're on video, you know. Leave the dark humor to the side here. I understand that he was a legendary bicyclist. I get that. That has not, you know, went past me none. I know.
What date was woman killed in Michigan? I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to need to go back and look at that again, because a lady wrote that in an email to me and was asking, and I did. I mean, I went and looked the case up, and I mean, this is an old lady, and she was sexually assaulted and murdered, and her body was left somewhere, I think maybe even in the woods. And while I kind of bypassed that, because at that time, if I remember right, he was living down in St. Louis. So I really didn't bother looking a great deal further into it, because, you know, I didn't want to feel that I was wasting my time, you know, looking into something for no reason.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, now, given the date of this one, and we'll know in like a year's time, but if it was, that might be something that actually needs looked into in that meantime. And I probably will check it out. And I will give you the answer to that on my channel because I don't have it in front of me. But watch for it this coming Tuesday, and I will discuss it with Greeno in that meantime.
Okay.
So that he is up to, or that he knows it, and I want to point that out, he can look into it. You see where I'm at? That way he can give his own spiel on it.
Right. Waiter says, what's a 6 hour? Not a gun guy, he says.
It is a type of handgun. Now, you know what? Let me pull that up real quick. Oh, wait, I can't. Or can I? Can you add my screen?
You have to share your screen.
Okay, hold on. Let me go get it first and pull it up. Go ahead. Because I got it right here in the Thomas Bruce file.
Okay. All right, so he's going to pull that up for you. The only odd date was the Catholic Supply shooting, which was on the 19th. If Tennessee is asking for Thomas Bruce's DNA, why can't Delphi do the same right now, even if they can't issue formal charges here until he is through standing trial in St. Louis? Well, okay, here's the deal. Tennessee, it's not necessarily what you're thinking here. This is something that Tennessee officials reached out to the Innocence Project and said, there's a guy here that we suspect possibly is a serial killer, and he happened to be going to school or training with a girl that showed up brutally murdered at the same time he was there. So what his family, the guy who was executed's family, is trying to do is get the judge to order a DNA sample to see if the DNA testing in the underwear is actually the man who was executed. And if it wasn't, then they're trying to get it tested towards Thomas Bruce to see if he's the person that was responsible for that, since he was there and he's already killed someone out here in St. Louis. So it's not like the law enforcement in Tennessee saying, we're going to summons his DNA and get that. It's due to family members of this guy who was executed pushing to try to exonerate him.
You know, I'd have to wonder about that. I mean, look, if it was a family member of mine who confessed to a murder and knew he was going to get death and never backed out of that confession and admitted to, why would I want him? What would be my belief that he would be innocent? Now, I could understand if he was wrongly tried and said I didn't do it, but why would he say I did? And, you know, he knows he's looking at the death penalty. That makes no sense to me. I mean, the guy could have been clearly insane, but yeah. Anyway, if you could share my screen for a second.
You're shared already. I can
So I just lower mine, and there it is.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, I see it right there. Okay.
Now, this right here is from his bankruptcy filings, which is over here. That's Thomas Bruce and Diane J. Bruce. But this right here is the firearms, example, pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammunition that he owned, which is an AR-15 Bushmaster rifle, a Glock 43 handgun. Now, this here says, right here, oh, wait, I already had it highlighted when I did the picture. But right there, it says 6-hour handgun. Okay, there is no such thing as a 6-hour handgun. That was a typo for a 6-hour handgun. You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying he had a 6-hour, because there is no split us here if you can.
Okay.
I'm kind of done. There we go. Because there is no 6-hour, it's a Sig Sauer. You know, they're not the same. I think that was a typo on his bankruptcy secretary's part, is by putting it down as a 6-hour handgun.
That's probably what you thought he said.
Huh?
It's probably what you thought he said.
6-hour. You say, is that a 6-hour? Yeah, it is. Okay.
6 hours. There you go.
You know, they sound almost identical.
It only lasts for 6 hours.
Yeah, and it's done, man. You got to get everything done. So if you're, if you're going to do it, you got 6 hours, pal. It's got a battery.
Mm-hmm. Is his car tracker mentioned? The one that records everywhere you go?
On what?
That's what Donna was asking. Like they have like those things that go on the cars or whatever, and it like tracks places. You know what I mean? It'll like tell them like where you've been or whatever, so they can track your mileage for your insurance.
The 77-year-old lady. That's how they found out that he was, in fact, after she seen him on the news and turned him in. That's how they found out that like he was there because that was on his car.
Yeah, there you go then.
And that might be why she had mentioned that. Now, Byron yesterday was asking me, I think it was him, that asked me, well, do you know? I think that was in a comment. And again, I got to apologize because it's hard to keep all that straight. But someone had asked me if I felt that they had tracked his phone from there in Delphi after they, would have assumed that it was him. I said, well, his Twitter post ended in November of 2016, and they didn't start up again until April of 2017. So through that time, I don't think that he had a functional working cell phone. Okay. But I said that, because I don't think it has to have internet exactly for them to track it. Correct. I don't know that to be true.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wouldn't feel that it would. And they may have been able to track the phone that he had at that time if they knew the phone, because chances are if he had it with him and knew that, he would have tossed it, got rid of it, and they couldn't have. I mean, you see where I'm at? They would have had to track the phone that he had at that time, which the FBI could probably do.
Right.
But I don't know that he had anything on his car that would have monitored exactly where he was. I think it was a pre-17 model. I don't think it was the 2017 Ford Kia that he had down there. Because actually in February, having just filed bankruptcy, why would he go buy a 2017 Ford Kia in late November, in late 2016, knowing he's going into bankruptcy and still own it? You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't make any sense. I think that the car he had, they ended up selling or whatnot. But I mean, that's me. I don't know that to be true.
Right. Radar, what are you posting with the numbers there? 11, 19, 8, 18, which is the Catholic murders. Hold on.
No. Yeah, it's going a little deep with the numerology. That's way too deep.
Tongue twisters.
I wouldn't even have felt that. But I do look into some.
Oh, so you guys are looking at my red wine video. I see. You guys are talking about it in there. The shit eater. I see. Yeah. Yeah, you want to see something weird? Go over there and watch that video I posted. You see some, and it's graphic material. I will warn you, there's a picture in there that is pretty gross. Yeah, you're going to want to see that. That's gross. If you guys are looking at that, red wine. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in making PayPal donations, then you can visit our PayPal donation pages. There is one right there on the screen, and I will post the other one on the screen right now. And that is his. WKAT does not have its own PayPal account. We used to, but we don't anymore. And so if you're going to make a donation to one or the other right there. If you want it to go to us both, then just put for WKAT in the note section, and we can send that to each other and share it. That's kind of how that works. We are at 1,000 subscribers, so we will get the super chat stuff set up and all that here in the near future. But for now, the PayPal is the preferred method of donations right there.
It's the preferred. It's the preferred payment method.
It's the preferred payment method for your news.
That's the best way I can put it, Kurt. We do need to set up some for WKAT, but yeah, he's right. If you drop either of us money, and you put to WKAT, we just automatically send person half of it. It's how it's always worked.
Yeah. So
we're good. We don't cheat each other. Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. We don't. We never do that. We keep the money on the straight and narrow.
It's bail money.
It's bail money, man. Woo!
Bail money.
Now, do you got a something of Mark Redwine eating a bowl of shiza? Is that the graphic part? Because I'm going to go watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it right. I got it. I was gonna play it earlier before you got on the thing just to show everybody. But yeah, I mean, it's like a 6-minute video of like the story of Redwine or whatever and stuff. But yeah, here, let me you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, do it, man. I want to see it.
All right, hold on. Okay, the picture I'm about to show everybody. If you don't like graphic content, I suggest you don't look here in just a moment.
And turn away because it's not going to be monetized anyway, but we don't want any stuff filed against us. Well, it made me watch shit eating.
Okay, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. So don't look. You don't want to see. All right. Here it is, dude. Or wait. Okay, right here.
Oh, that's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, dude. Wearing teen girl's clothes, and that's a diaper he's eating it out of. That's his own.
Oh, God.
That's horrible, dude. Yuck.
Like, what the F? Okay, yeah, there's a reason why that guy did things. Because he was already out of his mind. It's clear. Yeah, thank you, waiter. Hold on, let me highlight that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I can't tell you. Oh, somebody asked me on my live show, like, well, if you could talk to Thomas Bruce, what would you ask him? I'm like, you know what? There's not really anything that I would need to know. I said, if he was in Carroll County, the only reason that I would go in there to visit him would see the look on his face with everyone outside of that building that everybody can hear screaming for his death. And I want to see the look on that monster's face when that's occurring. Yeah, and that right there, see you later. See you, monster. I seen what I need to, you know. That shit looks like you're a little nervous, man. Yeah. Have you ever hear of Amber Green? You ever hear that, man?
I'm sure you've seen the video.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw that video at least once, right?
Play it every day for you, you know.
Take it in and show it to him. Did you ever see this? Oh, look, man.
Just hold a picture up of him out
that
there.
Was my dad's front yard, dude. Something to think about. It's just up the road from here if you didn't know that. And you hadn't, if you weren't there in 1869, and I'm kind of thinking you was.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so when he goes into that courthouse that day from the jail to the courthouse,
yeah,
you know that they're gonna be there like full swatted up. But
they will have the National Guard between there and the courthouse.
Yeah, dude.
They will have to, because there will not be a soul that will not attack that car.
Yeah. And dude, that is today's the day. That's the day I'm looking for.
It is.
That's the day that I want to see the look on that motherfucker's face when he's there and staring at everybody and everybody's just like, rah, because
they'll have his head covered.
You think so?
I'm positive. Yeah. Because I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's just the whole thing, because if people see his face, I think that they will have probably something like over the top of him, you know, to stop pictures, this and that of him going in the courthouse. They'll have his head covered. And aside of that, once he goes in there, he won't go back to trial in Delphi. They will find a different Indiana county.
I wonder where.
I don't know, but I mean, like, dude, there isn't a baby in like Delphi that didn't hear about that.
You're right.
What I mean? I mean, everybody in Carroll County knows about that murder.
Oh, it's pictures in every store.
I mean, they'd have to go to registered voters who are that age that are registered to vote. How could they miss it, man? I mean, his picture's on the courthouse.
Yeah, it is. It is.
There's no way that you could find anybody that would be clear and not knowing of the murders to then go forward with a jury trial there. Something to think about. They may try to talk him into a confession and leave it at that. Like he confessed, let's bring him in. He's pleading guilty. He's going to get life without parole or whatever, woo-up-de-woo, and go on about his way. People ask me, like, do you think it'll be televised? No. No. And it wouldn't matter if he did take it to a jury trial. They still wouldn't televise it.
Yeah, and Leslie said that a while ago, that you can't have any court cameras in the courtroom, period, in Indiana. They don't allow that here. Now, in Colorado, they allow. Other places they allow, and in some places it's up to the judge's discretion. But in Indiana, they're not allowed to do that. You know,
they did on Jeffrey Dahmer. That was in Chicago. BTK, they did.
Right.
Same with Ted Bundy. I mean, they there where he was playing his own lawyer.
Yeah, but they won't do that here.
Simpson, they did. You know, it's dependent upon the case, but I'm going to say in this one, they're probably going to, they might make it a quick in and out, but if they do and they bypass murder, I think that the person we should all be looking at is, wait, can we take that guy out of office? No, I mean that I mean like vote it out.
Right.
The prosecutor, is he up for vote or is he appointed?
He's a vote.
Okay. Well, then we can take him out.
Yeah.
We'll just say no, dude. I mean, the thing is like he's going to get so big off of getting the guilty plea, they'll probably make him like governor or some shit. You know, so it doesn't really make a flying flip to him what he gets. But to the citizens of Delphi, we need to be out front. Give him death or don't bother. We'll vote you right out, pal.
Yeah. I'm for that all day.
Yeah. He's young, man. He wants that job. And I mean, that should be the sign. If you don't go for death, you're voted out. We don't want a part of you.
Yep.
Because look, he's going to get life without parole. He's already got that. You know, he would get equally the same in Evansdale, no doubt about it. Indiana's the only one that can go after death. And if we don't, we're letting it slide. We're just going to go, yeah, because he'd stand on the side of, well, he's got to spend life behind bars. Well, he isn't in population. He's in protective custody, same as all of them were. They don't throw him in general population where somebody will kill him. They know better. You know, so yeah, he'll sit in a suite where we're paying for his television and his food, his housing, his health care, and every other damn thing. I say, no, you know what? American dollar ain't worth a dime anyway. Just go ahead and spend millions and fry his ass. I mean, send electricity to him. Let him think about it before he has to sit down. Pack his ass full of cotton and all that shit as they got to. But don't let that fucker slide in Delphi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nope. We want to see the full force of the law laid down.
We want the full Monte. That full Monte is to stick up the ass to the eyebrows.
Yeah. Bam.
Yeah, gavel up the ass to the eyebrows.
I wish I could just transition to the gavel. You know what I mean? Like play him on the screen.
Yeah. No, dude, this had some live editing, man. You know what? That'll be next.
Yeah.
You'll be an unstoppable force when they can do that.
Yeah. Just, yeah. Dude, that'll be fun. Let's see. Think it said if he was responsible, he would have started when he was 18 or 19. Yep, that would have been true. We would assume 19 if that was his first crime, if he committed the Tennessee crime.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, and I do want to point out if on that, because these later on in life, I believe, and somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the average serial killer starts right around 30 to 35. And that's after years of building up to it. But at 19, think about this. That being his first one at 19, how much sexual experience does the guy got at 19?
Right.
You see what I mean? And then to do that, something that graphic and like over the top, it seems a little bizarre. I mean, like a little over the top. But then again, anything you're looking at that this guy, I believe, has done is over the top. So, I mean, you know, it wouldn't shock me except that the guy pled guilty to it and took it to death, man. Didn't even back out. Didn't even blink an eye. Didn't even say fingerprints for that matter.
Right.
And honestly, man, if they had underwear of the guy, I mean, like they would have had some amount of fingerprints. I mean, you would have to think a stick. I mean, everything involved in that crime seems like that they would have had to add fingerprints. But then this innocent whatever man is saying like, well, we need his DNA because the family's saying he's innocent. And I'm like, well, why would the family even say that? Why, man? The guy pled guilty and took it to death. I mean, they had to add something on him.
Yeah, and they're only saying that it's not. I mean, that they didn't test the DNA in the case from pair of male underwear that was there. So
Dude, they didn't test DNA in my case, and they don't in most murder cases. Going all the way back before DNA, they did not need DNA. Now today, everybody's like, well, what about the DNA? Well, DNA is only a piece of it. Look, I could go somewhere and scatter my DNA all over the place, literally. And that don't mean that I was there when that crime occurred.
True.
You see what I mean? It's just a piece of the evidence. Now, it could be dependent on where that DNA is found for sure. I mean, no doubt about that. I mean, say as an example, it was a rape. And of course, the semen was left, and that semen matches DNA identical to the suspect. Yes, then you could definitely say, hey, man, his semen was in her. She was raped. That was the only sex that she had had. I mean, you see, I mean, there would be cases where that comes into play, but.
Yeah, there's a good one. Do you really think Delphi was sexually motivated? Because during the last press conference, the detective said it was about power.
You know what? I get what they're saying. And I do believe that it comes down like that in the man's mind is about power. But understand, I'm going to play the bad, evil monster here. And there's this woman, and I see her, and I'm like, you know, and I've been drinking a bit. Come on, man. Yeah, come with me, man. You know, let's go in this other room. Get on your knees. You know, now, you know, and then you start going through the whole thing. That's the power.
Yeah.
The power trip right there of the sexual motivation. You see what I mean? Now, I'm not going beyond saying, and again, it sounds graphic when you discuss that, and I don't really normally ever do. But if how was I going?
It's his ability to control the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it is sexual, but it's the power that you have over the person to get them to do what you want.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, say the person wasn't going to, you know, of course, you know, as most did not or whatnot, you know, then it's the whole matter of making them to have that power to force and make them do it anyway. Right. And those who don't comply, as I've stated, he kills them, man. I mean, the guy is dead serious about the acts that he's doing.
I did not see CeCe Moore on Dr. Oz today, although I will go look for that to see what she's talking about. I don't like Dr. Oz, but I like CeCe Moore.
No, I don't like Dr. Oz. I don't like Nancy Grace. CeCe Moore is okay. Yeah. I mean, I do like what she's done, but it seems like it just suddenly dropped off. Like, yeah, and then you just never hear of her anymore.
Yeah, I know, dude.
And it's like, well, hey, she solved all these cases in a couple months, and I thought she was going to who? CeCe what? Yeah.
That's back when we did DNA testing.
You know, we're past that now.
Yeah, we're past that.
Yeah, now we got video satellite, man. We know. we can just watch it happen.
We watch the crime being committed and know who did it. There it is. You know, one day it will be like that.
No, you know what? I'm not going as far as to say that can't be done right now.
That they can actually see it happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could if they was viewing you or your like general surrounding, you know, where they could really do that. But I mean, I think that deep down somewhere out there in NORAD, they have like a 24/7 watch map where they could show any car where a stop. You know, I don't know how back that would go, but I'm pretty certain that it is there. They have the technology to do that. And if you go to Google Maps, that's a piece of what they can do. That's not even a fraction of what that they can really do. I mean, when you're talking about the government, man, they know the names of the flies outside of this house, man. That's how deep they know.
Right. Well, I say I got about 5 more minutes, then I'm going to jump off here. Let's see. Understand. Let's see. I don't know. No, just an obituary. Yeah. See, we don't know anything about like the rape and murders or anything like that. If Delphi was rape or anything like that, family members have said, but we don't necessarily know. They know. You know what I mean? I wouldn't assume that they would know anything like that.
Wait, you see, I didn't know that family members had said except through rumor.
Exactly. Now they
and I'm pretty sure that law enforcement didn't really tell them much beyond that they had died, because but you know, otherwise they'd be giving out information that could be passed out.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, time's winding down, y'all. Donate to this fan-funded channel. The PayPal links are posted in there by our moderators.
Moderators. And is Mama Bull here?
Who?
Or Mama Bear?
No, she just left a few minutes ago.
Okay. I know she moderates, as does Alaska Blue.
Alaska's there, yep. Becky said it on an interview with Gray Hughes. Can you send me a link to that so I can listen to her say that? And you know what? I'll reach out to Becky and ask her if she said that.
If she said it and you hear her say it.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So,
but you actually say that, and it could have been a bleep, because I'm just going to, I stand to the side of law enforcement wanting to disclose that to the family at that time.
Right.
After the fact, yes, but they wouldn't have gave anything geared toward their investigation away. Because why? They could tell somebody like Gray Hughes. You see what I mean?
Right. Yes, I do. So paypal.me/. All right. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I will drop that other one in there for you now. That one was one, and that one's the other one. So are you going to be, well, I guess you probably won't. You don't make videos too much anymore.
Me?
Yeah.
You know what? I was yesterday. I was thinking about that, because I thought, well, you know, it might be some year in the next 2 before you actually get over here to do any editing.
Well, you know what? Well, I'll talk to you about that afterward. Okay, because I don't want to put that out there to the public. About where I'm going to be so the paparazzi don't show up. You know?
I thought, man, I had paparazzi today. And
yeah.
My Michael Cat, hey, man, is that you? Yes. And I'm thinking, I don't even know them.
Yeah, and they're like, remember me? It's like, yeah.
Fucking A, can you give me a ride? Where you been, man?
Man, you know what? I remember that one day. It was when I got back from Sturgis that I was like, dude, I got to go see RD, you know, in Kokomo or past Kokomo or whatever. And I
remember that.
Yeah, and I started walking down the road, and I got right down the hill past the church where that farm is.
Yep.
And a car drives by, and there's these 2 ladies looking at me, and I'm like, oh, man. And it turns around, and it comes back, and it's like they pull back, and they're coming back towards Burlington. And they slow down real far, and they're like looking at me, and I'm like, man, who is this? You know, and they pull in, rolls the window down, and it's Becky Patty. Like, you need a ride, Anthony? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I thought that was you. Took me all the way where I needed to go. I was like, wow, that's ironic, you know, that Becky Patty pulled up.
Right at the right time.
Right at the right time, you know.
Well, when I was leaving Kokomo today, and a lady had went by, because, I mean, I hit right there at the point and threw my thumb out, right?
Mm-hmm.
She went by, and I didn't even notice the car. And, you know, I get up the road a piece, and the car goes back down, was pulling in the driveway. Didn't think anything of it, kept walking. I seen they was backing out and slowing down. I'm like, all right, okay. And it was a lady. Stop, pick me up, you know. And so I get in, and she's like, "You look like you're, you know, like a good guy and all that." And I'm like, "Have you seen me before?" And I mean, like, you know, it's just, you know, one of those like, "Oh man, I made a bad choice." No, why? Like, okay, well, I make videos, man. I get noticed here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I got it.
What's
Nope.
a link? Yeah.
What's today? 17th? Yeah, close enough.
I remember that. What's a link?
What?
Remember?
Who?
Remember?
Yeah, I do remember but what was that about?
Sent Ron a link.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just sitting there thinking the whole time, just like doesn't hear anything else you're saying. It's just like
Link.
How did you send him that? Like
a chain link? Is that the link you're talking about?
How did you send that through a computer?
Oh, a computer where you put them together? Is that the link? Is it where you put two computers or something?
That's funny, man. I think about that all the time. That's funny. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I remembered where it was because it was when I had my couch over here and I had the computer facing this way because I remember talking about that. I remembered it was something funny, but yeah, I remember now. Yeah, we sent letters to Ron Logan and didn't even get a reply. No, didn't even get a reply. We had to go to the court where he went in, and he still didn't talk to us, right?
He didn't have anything to say, did he?
Got anything to say, Ron Logan? Yeah, go fuck yourself.
The only time we got to get him to say anything was when we showed up at his house. Remember?
Yeah. Well, that was you.
Yeah. But I mean,
I went up there and he answered the door and he's like, no, I don't want anybody around here. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, man. Hey, dude, I'm leaving by.
Yeah.
Man, I sent you a letter too. Crotchety old bastard.
Yeah, man. I was going to bring you a beer and pizza, dude.
Man, what did he go to court for that one time? What did he go to court for when we went over there?
Oh, he went in there to plead guilty.
To what? I mean, what was the thing? What was the court? Well, I mean, what did it involve?
He was pleading guilty to his probation violation and being habitual.
It was in the video. You called it something. It started with an R.
I don't remember.
To get out early.
Oh, his modification.
Modification. There it is.
There you go.
We had to go to his modification hearing to get a reply.
Just because he was happy to get out. Yeah.
I wish that they would have modified him upside and down the other.
Yeah. Will he get modified or will he be remanded? Remanded.
Wait to see him get modified now.
He's getting remanded.
Remanded. That was good, man. I enjoyed the shit. Everybody did, man. That was a well-made video.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, holy shit, I want to know, is he going to get remanded? I said, dude, it's the way you did it, man. It was perfect.
Yeah, and you know what? It really hypes people up. It was over nothing. You know what I mean?
I mean, was he going to get out a month early, or was he going to have to stay a month or two? Well, that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
I want to know, man.
I need to be there on Tuesday to see that happen. Yeah.
They modified him. Yes. Now he did it. He crossed the line.
Oh man, dude. You know, it would be great to get Ron to go down to that crime scene and do an interview now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
he ain't ever gonna do that.
Well, I wouldn't want him to go to there. I mean, you know, it's a sacred spot that people shouldn't go to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know what I mean? That's the whole point. That's all of it.
Yeah.
Is that there is nothing genuine or, you know, funny that can be made
in that area. Right.
But Ronald Logan, there is.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I seen Ronald Logan's mugshot, I'm like, holy shit, man. He don't look like a sweet old man there. He looks pissed.
Yeah, and before that, he's on the news wearing a blue coat and camo hat.
Looking kind of silly and suspect-like.
And he said, down the hill.
Damn,
You know.
that sounded like me. You keep talking, buddy. Keep going.
Keep saying that.
Keep going, suspect.
Yeah.
Well, they moved him out of Carroll County Jail for his own safety. Something to think about. That's what people inside was thinking. The same.
Yeah, exactly. And remember all those police they had up there that day? I mean, Toad walked him in there. You know, I mean, they had police at every corner of the courthouse, you know, everywhere, like monitoring us as we went in. Take your hats off, take your pockets, you know, when we went in there.
They probably would. I mean, like if we caught Lesenby at a time when he had a moment free, I'm sure he would. But I mean, like he wouldn't discuss anything investigative about the case.
Yeah,
and,
they don't really give any information.
And anything that we would ask him, I mean, would probably involve such. Because, I mean, if I was to ask him about, you know, it'd be the same reply as always. Well, it's a lot of the persons of interest. Everybody's a person of it. Because that's what they're always going to say. It's answering without answering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go.
It's answers without answers. Well, I mean, that's what it is. And you know what? I have reached out to Tobe, and I talked to John the other day on the phone. And Kim Riley, I was supposed to try to call him back tomorrow. But they won't, like he said, they won't give you like any more information on what's already out there. They'll just kind of say, yeah, okay. Then they go back into something completely different, and it's like, hold on, man, you got me confused. I asked a question here. Then it turns into they're asking you a question by the end of it, and it's like, no, hold on, man. I'm not getting the answers that I want to know. What happened here, and here? Can you explain these things? Was this an accident? Did you say this by accident? What do you mean by person's never committed a crime before? You know, just questions like that we ask. They don't really give any new answers. They just kind of revert back to the same old crap that they've been saying. You know, it's nothing new. No matter how hard you try.
Yeah, and I think on that, and you know, I don't know why that Kim Riley had answered that in the way that he did. I mean, that wasn't given to anybody, no one aside of us.
Yeah.
But honestly, we're the ones that broke that piece of information.
And that's huge. And I still use that today.
It is. It's very huge. And and it plays in significantly. Because, I mean, beforehand, everybody was looking into local sexual offenders because that seemed the most logical. So, you know, and after finding that out, and that was at the 1 year mark, it kind of changed what we was looking at because we had to go home with our hands in our pockets looking down like bridge guy because, you know, I mean, everything that we thought was going to transpire did not.
Right.
But then we got new information and it kind of set us back to square one in a way. But at the same time, it's like the truth hurts, but knowing it's better.
But it knowing is better. And it opened up a whole new opportunity to say, okay, now we've eliminated this person or this portion of our investigative strategy. Now we're going to start our new direction into the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Because then if somebody said, well, what do you think of this person?
Nope.
Go to my case. Blah, 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 blah. Nope. They were arrested prior to.
Yep. Been to prison. Nope. Not the dude.
It cannot be him. And the thing is that people will reach us because of that, because they don't know that information that the person had never committed a crime before.
Right.
And if they do, all they'd have to do is, like I put in my website, man, go to my case, put in like, you know, and look up their background in Indiana. If they're from Indiana and living in Indiana, which all of them have been, I mean, even Daniel Nations was living here in Indiana, a sexual offender. You know, all of them, all the persons of interest that I've been brought were from Indiana. Go to my case, Indiana. If they was arrested prior to February 13th of 2017, not them. Immediately know that. And I don't even think that media follows up on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I've never heard him mention it. Now, the only media that I did hear mention it was from St. Louis when they got a hold of Carroll County, because they threw in the fact that Thomas Bruce had never broken the law before. Now, Kim Riley told us that, but that must be out there as well too on their law enforcement. Like when law enforcement finds something where they look into it, that they will see that. listed because like fingerprints and DNA didn't come back. And I believe that there was fingerprints left in Delphi. And you know what? Shoot me if I'm wrong, but I'm never wrong. I have yet to see where I'm wrong. I haven't quoted anything that's wrong up to now about my suspect. It's all been facts and circumstances that relate. There it is.
Shit. Whoops.
Oh my God. What'd you do, fart?
No, I hit a button.
Oh.
I hit
a nasty fart, dude.
I hit the outro thing to get it ready or whatever because I'm about to jump off here. I'm ready to roll. But
well, let me in first.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Since it's your show and all.
Yes. Here, let me. There you go.
Oh man. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, I've been walking today. All right, man. Thanks for reviewing, everybody. I will see you in my next video, which will probably be Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time on my channel, Michael J. Cat. Wish you all the best week. Peace.
Later, dude. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess I will see you probably tomorrow or something like that. My live streaming is still not enabled. I don't know why, but my strike is gone. I think it takes 24 to 48 hours for that to kick back in. But I will, hopefully I can be back on live on my channel here in the near future. On that note, everybody, I'm Anthony Greeno. Keep it Southern style, y'all.
What's going on, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever the heck you're watching from? Like, share, and subscribe to North Central Indiana's best YouTube channel around. This is Outlaw Media. WKAT.
Unfiltered, uncut, and above reproach. He is Michael J. Cat.
He is Anthony Greeno.
And they're back on YouTube. So go there.
But don't just go there.
Subscribe.
WKAT.
Uncovering the truth and breaking the mold.